Homo economicus is economic man. It's a philosophical precept that runs through economics from Adam Smith onwards that basically tells us what it means to be a human being, to be self-interested, to be monetarily sensitized to one's environment, individualist, and basically a money-chasing animal, as he or she has been termed by some philosophers in the past. It really came to be the principle in which society was organized around with the rise of neoliberal economics that really saw this as the heart of the economic machine, self-interested individualism. And so for the last 30 or 40 years, we've been kind of waterboarded by the ideology of Homo economicus. So this book is titled The Death of Homo Economicus, and I've used that rather provocative phrase for a number of reasons. The study is really a ghost story. It's about a dead ideal. The ideal really never gained traction from the beginning because we don't act as individual self-seeking beings. We live in a society and we live in communities. But it really kind of received the death blow with the 2007-2008 financial crisis that really put it into the category of a ghost. Now that ghost is still haunting our society. And so rather than look at the individual being a self-seeking, selfish, cash-hunting animal, this is really about the tragic side of wanton individualism. I would argue that this theory or ethos of being a human being is really no longer serving any purpose if it did it in the beginning, and is really kind of making us sick, unhappy, and in some cases killing us. And there are two things that really define that perpetually failing Homo economicus. One is debt, personal debt, which I discuss quite a lot in the book, but also the other side is this kind of crippling work ethic, or what I would call a suicidal work ethic. Now, the irony is that we have really kind of solved the labour problem. We don't need all of this work to be taking place in the rich societies of the West. So therefore, work has entered into a kind of a ritualistic ceremonial phase in which we have to display all of the trappings of being a very frenetic worker. And you'll see this the most, obviously, in very busy workplaces, but take the unemployed. When you lose your job and you enter into a job centre, for example, the first thing they tell you is, okay, now this is what it looks like to be a worker. And you have to go through the ritual. Oftentimes economics has very little to do with it. It's not about receiving an income. Oftentimes people will have to go through these ritualistic theatre, a cruel theatre of labour, simply for its own sake, to fulfil an ideological function. And so, you know, our obsession and fixation at a political level, at least, not necessarily at a personal level, with work is really kind of reaching its zenith, with people literally dropping dead from overwork, suffering from stress, cardiovascular disease. Some doctors say that it's worse than smoking for your health, given the long-term stress that builds up on the body. And so this is really kind of entering into this biopolitical sphere, I would argue, that the body itself now is the vehicle of this failing economic ideal of Homo economicus.